continuation. Unfortunately, this is almost basically a re-edit, and it's so funny that I didn't have any audio because of this crappy connection point. Very, 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 very fragile. Yes. Chapter 1. To take you into the scene, the air was cool with a wet glaze. The tunnel had water droplets forming along its shell. I noticed with a spectral eye that it was a multitude that held opposition to the complacent individuals that slip unconsciously to the brainwashing cycle of society's mores. I stood at the cusp. If I venture further, irrevocable consequences will stare at the mirror of my existence. A shadow of the past, the damaging effect of cause, to be justified in the eventual demise. Every moment builds up to the truth, for the fortified mind will travel in ceaseless explosions of what is life. And its inner core, the magnetic attraction towards living, I mean living with a radiance, only outshone by the sun, not dimmed, as by shackling free will to a tree or a locality, but the dimensionless exuding emotion, a vector aimed. Gaze observes that a mysterious... okay, so here sometimes I might have some, like, reworkings, and, you know, there again, this is just things that, you know, we'll try to eliminate, maybe. Well, but maybe it creates personality. So, exuding motion, a vector aimed. A vector aimed gaze observes a okay, slow down here. But to be a dimensionless, exuding motion, a vector aimed gaze observes at a mysterious craft bursting from the water, a massive edifice accentuating the appendages of its anatomy, like a sea turtle coming up onto the bank. A spread of mustard-like sand collapses under its great weight, a claw-like arm moving in a fluid ascension. As it surfaces, the hull opens. The opening, like an anatomical structure, appeared to be like a muscle, for what was at first thought I thought it might be alive, an organic creation, or a mutation, a genesis of nucleic acids, the building blocks of life, threaded into a helical weaving, incessant. Griff, dude, are you all right? I motioned to stare in awe at the apocalyptic scene. Who was overseeing this great expense, or organic steel? Submarine. Okay, slow down. And let's rework this again. To stare in awe at this apocalyptic scene. Who was overseeing this great expense of organic steel submarines, formed with the mechanatomical extensions? He said without even looking that he will explain everything when we get to this ship. So weary. At the course that lay below my feet, I proceed, but with calculated steps. As we get closer, I see that the steel must be infused with some sort of organic tissue, stimulated by an electric current. We enter into the structure. It's like a large battleship of various levels, of architectural scales, a framework of unique shine of metal. It appeared to radiate. We traveled through the corridors, lighted by an optical wave like blood running in the veins. The opening only accessible with a biometric code. The ship seemed to drive itself. And so here's an intermission. anyways, so this is a story that I created, and I'm wondering, I'm glad that I finally can see that my recording is using audio this time, because that was pretty deceiving. Anyways, I was in the central nervous system. We reached the bridge, a transparent glass that could magnify each pixel of its screen. I began to wonder, and some smack you in the face, step out of your head, hallucinogenic. Is everything seemingly tangible, but maybe just figments of a overworked mental process? Griff began to speak, waking me from my dream or reality. I still wasn't quite clear. This is a new design in an amphibious watercraft, fully capable of plummeting to 320 meters per second. The system runs on a nuclear reactor that is biometrically connected to a supercomputer, able to calculate 100 billion gigabytes a second. A brain stemming through the cortex is where you stand right now. I know you're shocked to imagine the sheer unexpectancy of me in this disposition of space and time, but I assure you it will all be explained in due time. Right now, I will have our servant girl help you in the room. And so this is the end that was supposed to be here. And so then I go on to the next one if you're ready for it. The servant girl.